Thank you and welcome to Satellite Country Leadership Institute Week 11 out of 26 weeks. Satellite Country is dedicated to professional development. Here's the agenda for today. We're going to discuss your homework, and everyone did their homework, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Mistakes managers make. We're going to look at 3 new mistakes this week. We're going to review those mistakes and we'll talk about them, and then we'll discuss next week's homework. You ready? Everybody ready? All right. Homework. Write a paragraph on each one of the mistakes we covered today. Explain why they're mistakes and what the impact of making them are to a manager. Callie, we'll start with you.
Okay, what's the first one? Pop it up. And I'll tell you.
Not taking
care of things immediately and letting them. I know what I said. Okay, well, not taking care of things immediately goes back to one of the common mistakes from last week, where if you don't address an issue immediately, there's a lot of time that passes. There's time for interpretation. You aren't covering what needs to happen, and then nothing really effectively will happen because that person has had time to move on and continue either doing that mistake and the problem's gotten worse to where you've got a real problem on your hands, or you're not going to effectively be able to stop it because you've been letting it go and slide. So
remember, no matter what we do, we're always teaching them what we want them to do. So if you say, Jason, I need this project done by 1 o'clock, and then 1 o'clock comes and you never follow up with them, what are you teaching them?
it's okay to not.
I'm not going to follow up on you. Okay? Jason, how about you?
Same thing? Or second paragraph?
Discuss the homework. Choose a different topic than Callie chose.
Being consistent with your communication and behavior. That was the second one. I wrote, it is very important to always be consistent with your communication and behavior, meaning, you got to be consistent. Show up on time. Follow lead by example. Show up on time. Treating everybody with the same respect. I've just found, seriously, on the floor, in a positive way, always, smile and do whatnot, but in a disciplinary way, but whenever you're dealing with things, you have to hold every single person accountable, and you have to actually set the tone for who you are. And my team, seriously, they know what I expect, and I respect them, though. I'm not an a-hole about it. Sometimes I am, but they know what to do. Today it's double digits, seriously. It gets everybody on the same page, and they know what to expect from you. I said, I'm always glad to help an agent out. They know that no matter what, if they have a question, they raise their hand, I'll come there with the answer. And if I don't know the answer, find it out.
It's also important to teach them how to find the information themselves, because if you keep giving them the answer, they're going to keep asking you.
Teach them how to fish. Google is your friend. Yeah. That's good that you mentioned that, because lately I've been like, instead of taking the wheel, I'm like, oh, go here and do this. And it's kind of funny sometimes to watch them wonder what they're doing, but then when they get it, they get it. And it's good. Let's see. They know what to expect from me. I show them some respect. And people really do. They do what I ask. If I was inconsistent with my behavior communication, people, they wouldn't know what to expect from me. Like, oh no. Well, here comes Jason. I wonder what I'm going to get this time. So,
As human beings, just as normal human beings, if we're told to do 2 conflicting things, what do we tend to do? Nothing. Okay? All right, Lindsay, I know you didn't do your homework. You get a bye this time. Stephen?
All right, so the next one was not getting both sides of the story. All right, so if you don't get both sides of the story, for one, somebody going to feel like you're showing favoritism. And that's never good in the work environment. Also, you always got to try your best to get both sides of the story, because that shows lack of judgment if you just take what one person say and then just go with somebody, and you never know how they're going to react to it.
Okay, remember, and I would say this is a critical mistake. When you falsely accuse one of your people, you'll never recover from that. Never.
Withdrawing.
You withdrew everything. They're not gonna. Yep, and you slashed them too. So you got a long way to go. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's going to take a lot, and it's very damaging. It's very damaging both to your relationship and your team. All right. We covered all three of them, right, Travis? Did you have something different?
No.
How about you, Doug? I bet you didn't have anything different either, did you?
No, but the whole thing about both sides of the story is that, if you don't get the full picture, you're basing judgments on empty information, and you're not going to make the right decision based on half the facts. You're just not. I mean, even if it's the right decision
In the short term.
yeah, it's not.
Okay. It's really important what he said. Did you guys get it?
Yeah.
Repeat it back to me, Stephen.
Not getting full picture.
You're not making a good decision because you don't have all the information.
Yep.
So you're bound to make a bad decision because you don't have all the information. That's the part I was keying in on.
There's just different circumstances that you might not even know.
Correct.
until you actually get it.
And it can happen.
So I see something conflicting though, because you say, a good leader has to make a quick, decisive decision right then, right? It's important not to sit around and wait. You got to make
certain
In most times, yes.
Okay. Because that just seems like it kind of conflicts with, really.
Well,
I would say it depends on the circumstance.
Yeah.
Right.
If it's a really big deal, whoa, we better get a full picture. If it's just like a quick snap judgment, that isn't going to have terrible implications if you make the wrong decision, then whatever.
You can't assume anything. And in certain situations where you have to make a quick decision, you can do those, but sometimes, and I can't think of an actual situation right now, but when it's a big deal, you want to get both sides, so you want to take that one person and listen to them and take it in, think about it, and then get the other person, talk to them, think about it, and then talk to your supervisors, the people above you, this is the situation, here's both sides. What do you think? And you get the whole entire thing, and then you make your decision.
Okay. When we talk about making quick decisions, decisive decisions, I'll just give you a little thing that my great-grandfather told me. We were talking about this very subject, but in terms of a little boy, okay? And I said, well, what if I make the wrong decision? And he goes, I don't want to be double-minded, because that's why we were talking, because my grandmother said I was double-minded. And I was asking him, and he said, no, you're not changing your mind. You're making a new decision based on new information. Okay? It's not being double-minded. It's just, this is what I thought it was. Now, a week later, here's new information I have to make a new decision. You're not changing your mind. You're making a new decision. What would be double-minded is if in the same conversation, I'm flopping back and forth. Okay? You can't do that, especially to people who work for you. Okay? One of the things, too, I would also say is your experience, and I know where your question is coming from, your experience will help you make more decisive, quicker decisions because you have experience. Oh, the last time I did this, and this unintended consequence happened. I know about that unintended consequence now. I'm going to think this through. Now, probably most of you haven't had this experience, but there have been many times when Travis, Doug, and I have been in a room, and we're chewing the cud on something, and we just got to say, okay, let's take a break here for a second. Let's think about this. Okay? One of the things you need to realize, and it's helpful to understand, is the hardest group to manage is a group of leaders. Okay? It's the hardest group to manage. Because, one, to be a good leader, you have to be a little bit narcissistic. Got to be a little bit narcissistic. Okay? To be a good leader, you also have to be do it now. Sense of urgency. Okay? Don't let the sense of urgency drive your decision because you have to make it right now. You can wait 10 minutes. Okay? One thing I also learned, I learned this from my mom, sweet thing, is I never make a decision when I'm angry and emotional. Never. I will say, and some of you have been through this with me, let's take a break. I need to go outside and smoke a cigarette. We'll talk about this later.
I don't know, Jerry.
Because-
Very special case.
Because,
You've got to make an exception every now and then.
I am the exception.
well, I'll tell you what, on the Wednesday class, and since Doug brought it up, Wednesday class, they were talking about each other's skills and strengths and weaknesses that they saw in each other. And it came to Trey, and I wish I would have been recording it, came to Trey, she used me as an example. And she said, Jerry is extremely hard, but fair. And when he says something, people listen to him. And when they have a problem, they come to him. So outwardly, you think he's very regimented and everything like that and harsh. But then when you get in a one-on-one situation with him, he's totally different. He tends to compromise more. He will listen to you more. And that's my personality. It is. And for good and bad. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's bad. Okay? All right? Did you have something different?
I mean, considering I did my homework, I like just
Show off that you did your homework? We appreciate it.
essentially. But there is one point, it's the first point, and it's a matter of not correcting your coaching can result in bad habits. Let me start from the beginning. Letting things go and not correcting your coaching can result in bad habits, which can become unmanageable if gone unchecked for too long. One example I see, and it's, bless their hearts, but some of my vets, we want scripts. I mean, we're pretty lenient on that, but in time, it's going to be mandatory. It's very tough. I'll just say one example is rep on scripts. It's difficult to get a seasoned rep to accept a new script, especially when they don't use one at all. They feel any deviation from their current pitch will decrease their production, when in fact the reason we suggest a script to a veteran is because they are most likely underperforming or not meeting QA compliance. And it's one of my biggest challenges is correcting bad habits.
Maybe because you weren't quick enough. I'm not saying that's the case. Maybe it's been going on and you weren't quick enough, and so now they think, well, he's been saying that for months and it's not real.
To that. And so at this point, with these new reps, I learned my lesson from that, and of course we try to coach the veterans as much as possible, but for the new guys, no exceptions, man. No exceptions.
Okay. I also want to piggyback on what Trey said about me too. And her final comment was this: if Jerry's really extremely hard on you, that means he likes you.
Yeah. That's what Brew told me about you.
Yeah, it is
Oh,
true.
What about Jerry? Because he loves you. I'm like,
No, the harder I am on you, the means the more concerned I am for you.
And if you don't really give a crap about somebody,
I wouldn't talk to
you
him.
just basically don't even see them. So
they don't exist.
oh,
Is that why you never talk to each other?
Pretty much.
Travis, I'm pretty hard on you, buddy. I don't cut you any slack. I do it in private, but I don't cut you no slack. I don't cut him no slack, guys, just so you know. All right. Come to class next week with at least one idea to streamline your work process or improve your work or your team environment. What'd you come up with?
Well, you told me to come
Work
up
with
something with
different?
Jason. Yeah, and I think it's actually already happening. Like, he got that Jason Town thing up for the team where we have our own room. But one thing that we had talked about is trying to get our team to really look out for each other, especially when new people come on it, so that it takes some time away from him so that he can help with bigger problems.
Yeah.
And I've noticed, like, even people that I wasn't super close with before, like now Ernie and I are on a team, and we've been helping each other out. And I'm like, that's awesome, because I've noticed all of us.
That is what a team does, guys. I'm sure I told you this story. In high school, I was on our baseball team 4 years. We didn't lose a game. I was a catcher. Our third baseman got hurt in the game, and we didn't have a backup for the third baseman.
Well, there you go.
We didn't have backup. Okay, so the only other player on the field that throws the ball consistently as from third to first is the throw from home to second. So they moved me to third, which I never practiced third base. I never did it. I mean, I could play it, and I had a backup catcher. All right, so the first batter up, hits one right past it, because I didn't have as much reach as the third baseman. He was a pretty squirrely guy. He had a lot of range, right? And just went like an inch past the edge of my glove. And I'm like, God, dude, first time they hit the ball to me and I screwed up. Well, part I forgot, because I was on a good team, was what did I forget? The shortstop was already back there.
Nice.
Because when I catch, I back up the first baseman. Okay, because here's the key to that. This is like a secret, guys. All right? The runner is at first base, right? Who's the next guy back to the fence? The first base coach, right?
Yes.
Okay? So where's the catcher back up the first baseman from? Behind the first base coach. He can't see me. I'm behind him. Right. So if he misses the ball, I'm back there. He's telling the runner, go, go, go. He missed the ball. He missed the ball. And guess what? Catcher's back there with the ball, just sitting there waiting for him to get halfway so I can throw it to second. Okay? Now, I forgot about that when I was playing third base. And the shortstop, he caught it, made the play, and I'm like, ooh, great. All right, but that's a team. When you get someone, and Travis can tell you, that this used to aggravate me to no end. When I ask someone to help someone else, how much are you going to pay for me? How much are you going to pay me? Okay?
Oh, really?
That's part of being a good team player. Most of you are in this room because you did do the extra stuff when you were an agent. Right? You were helping people. Okay? How it really works is you will actually do the job you're about to get promoted way before you get promoted or you get to pay for it. That's just part of the process. We got to see you, yeah. So you got a couple years before you get that raise. All right? So that's part of the process. And we have a couple agents on there, on the floor. We use trying to encourage them, this is what you got to do, be in management, okay? They'll do it for a couple days. They'll dress appropriately. They do all the strive for a couple days, and then they want to get promoted. It takes 6 months. I need to see you come to work on time for 6 months, no calling in. Yeah, for 3 days, man, come on. You said I was going to get promoted. I think we had a misunderstanding there. Okay? What did you come up with, Jason?
You taught me this back in the day whenever I took the internet team project under my belt, but I'm going to actually start using this again because it really didn't work. I turned crap into gold back in the day with this, and you gave it to me.
I would never tell you to do stuff that don't work, guys.
It's a timeline. When I come in, okay, I'm supposed to be here at 10. I usually show up about 30 minutes early. I know you say you should be here an hour early, but I should about 30. I wait the bus, okay? Anywho, you show up, and we have a list on the wall of your top agents and your low agents. So take the people who are on bottom, and you got to work with them more throughout the day. But actually,
So he's talking about dividing the team in thirds.
yeah, and it just hour blocks, okay? Like these people, like so and so, Mr. A, okay? I got to work with this person because their closing percentage is really low. I got to see what's going on. I got to pinpoint it and do it, but monitor them for that. Monitor throughout the day. Take a break every now and then because you can't just drive yourself crazy. And monitor them and really spend time. Now the people who are top performing agents, I don't got to worry about them as much. And
Just quality. You just got to worry about quality with your top guys.
What Callie said is how we work as a team. I know that I can go to certain people on my team and be like, oh, hey, can you make sure that this person's doing this or that's doing that? So they're working to help them as well while I'm sitting there monitoring. So it's a perfect way to streamline it. It really is it's a good thing, and I have to start doing it because it gets results. I've seen it happen before, and it would behoove me to use it again. It's a really great tool. So that's mine. Okay,
we can take, let's say I'm Travis's worst performing agent on his team. I'm the bottom dude, okay? Could Travis work with me all day and fix me?
No, because the other person...
No, could he? He could do that, couldn't he? Okay, he could do that. But the other 9 to 20 people on the team are going to suffer because he did that. So the necessities of the business dictate that you can't pull your worst people off all day and work with them.
Yeah.
It's not going to work, okay? So what I recommend you do is pick 3 things on Monday that you're going to work with that person throughout the week. Audit them, teach them, use the 4 corners to teach them, audit them, make sure they're doing what you ask them to do, and then see what their results are. It takes 21 days to change or break a habit. If somebody tries the script 3 times and don't work for them, that ain't enough. You need to do it for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, you'll have it down enough. Okay? I mean, these are psychologically proven things. 21 days to change or break or create a new habit. Okay, Stephen, again, we'll have to skip Lindsay because she didn't do her homework. Just want to get that on recording.
Alright. So pretty much what I got is I'm gonna continue to praise my team for when they're doing something good. Or I see a good habit that they did without nobody watching or whatever. Let them know that I actually seen it or whatever. I'm also continue to set goals for my team each day. I think if you have a goal, they give you something to look forward to doing. So it kind of motivates you. And like they were saying, just have my team just help each other, help each other. Because to me that builds character. So that's why I like it.
Okay, good,
And
good.
if I could add to that, Steven's been awesome. I think I told Doug the other day, I was on a phone call the other day, and Steven will come up behind me and like make sure, because my DVR attachments were what didn't give me the bonus last week, and it was a flex, and the person was like fighting me on this DVR, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get it. And he came up behind me and was like, there's not a DVR on there, Callie. So into the call, I go up and I was like, thank you for that. I got that DVR, and all it took was you like standing back there and being like, you can do this. It was awesome. Yeah.
That's all I need is a little reminder. That's the auditing part. Okay, Travis?
Two things, daily checklist for myself, because my problem is organization. You know, I run around so much stuff.
And neatness.
No, I'm super neat. No, it's my organization, you know, it's like I'll think I have a million things to do, and I don't know where to start, and by the time I figure out where I want to start, the day's over. So it's kind of like getting myself organized. So I have my daily checklist that I do. Those are tasks that I have to do, you know, calls that I'm on every day, whatever it is. And the other thing is just my general to-do list. So once I knock out my daily checklist, then I can go start doing my other projects. And I'm actually rewriting my list every single day. So
It is a constant change.
I have to, because I'll just look at it and see at the same time, or see the same thing every day and not do it. But if I rewrite it, leave off the stuff I've done, I can keep adding to it. And I managed to keep it all to one page every day.
Just make sure you don't add things on there for you.
Jason wrote on here the other day when I left it out, Jason Taylor raves. And I didn't know it looked like my handwriting. So I'm down there talking to JB about things I need to do. And I get to the part where it's, and I'm like, oh, and Jason Taylor raves? So I was thinking we need to talk about this. And I'm over here thinking, what did we talk about?
I mean, we're not giving them one, are we?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, even Doug saw it. It looked just like my handwriting. So that confused the hell out of me. Yeah. But that's helping me a lot. I mean, I'm actually getting some stuff done.
Let's hear from the Vikings. What do the Vikings say?
The Vikings? About what?
The streamline.
Oh, sorry. I actually thought you meant
The Minnesota Vikings.
Yes.
Get touchdowns.
I'm a Vikings
Person
fan.
Harden.
Well, as far as my team is concerned, I never say I. It's nothing but we. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. I have a really good team, and they're very compliant with most anything I say. They're really cool. But what I'm going to do personally, besides all the obvious, is have meetings as often as possible. We're going to have some today, but clearly I don't have everybody here. There's only one day a week that I can actually have everybody here, and that's on Wednesday. So with that being said, clearly I'm going to have meetings on Wednesday. There'll be topics occurring, there'll be subjects or issues that have come along every week and every day, and of course we'll discuss those at that given time. I'm pretty focused on my team. Matter of fact, if just to give you a heads up here, I feel more organized, more focused now that I have a focus group. I'm not spread. Keep in mind, man, I have 42. As far as I was concerned, before we had the managers, I had 38 to 42 people to take care of. As far as I was concerned, just that thought of that alone is overwhelming. It kind of makes you step back and say, shit, man, like, come on, you know. I'm focused, man. I know exactly. I have daily reports, and I appreciate whoever does that. I appreciate that. They're on my desk when I get to work. I'm gonna say home.
That's how it's supposed to be. Hasn't been like that way for a long time, but I'm glad it's coming around.
And you know what? I feel like I'm growing. I'm not as pain in the ass as I used to be, so direct on people.
No, you're still a pain in the ass.
I am though, and it's always going to be a part of me. But I'm also one of the first people to say, hey man, you know what? I think I was a little bit too hard on you. But let me tell you why I was so passionate about that particular issue, and they're usually cool about it. I never go too far, though I have in the past. But I'm learning from my mistakes, and that's the biggest thing.
Hopefully last Friday, that was my big message to you guys, is if you do make a mistake, be quick to fix it. Because your people already know you made the mistake.
Yeah.
You're going to lose deposits out of that account if you don't fix it quick.
There's also
Because sometimes emotion gets in the way.
absolutely.
We're salespeople. We're in the transference of emotion business. You know, if every now and then I lose my cool, I need to fix that.
I'm usually pretty tired. You know, I'm usually pretty moody as a result, and it's not always their fault. I have to take ownership for my mistakes. But I'm really enjoying it. I have a sense of pride now. That's my team. I'm going to make them shirts. I'm going to give them a name, and I'm still working on that. And I've put a lot of thought into it. It's very important to me. This is my life. I'm a single dude, and I've dedicated myself to this, and now I can dedicate myself to a smaller group. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Doug,
Just the team concept in general, which is a youth thing. We've been talking about that forever. Nudge from Travis.
it's an important thing in organizations, how they function.
I cannot believe how little got done for the team leaders. Nothing got done.
Well, we're getting
'Cause now
part
we
of,
have to worry about that day-to-day stuff. All of a sudden, there's just so much other stuff to do that's never even been touched.
I told you it would open you up. I told you it would open you up. It will.
Crazy how much stuff.
You get things in the right order. Also, because of this, you're also going to be able to be more proactive. Okay? Now, I got a confession for you guys. Okay, I know all of you. You're building your teams. You got your teams now. The next step is naming the team. The next step after that is getting shirts.
Jason Town.
Okay? Now, I've already given JB a heads up. I said they got their teams now. The first thing will come is they're going to name them. Next thing that's going to come after naming them, they're going to want to have their own shirt, their own uniform. So it would be a good idea if you start looking for the money, tell them each supervisor has $10 a shirt, whatever. Well,
Thank you.
I don't know what he's going to do, but I was just giving him a suggestion about coming up with a budget and letting you guys know. All right? When it comes to naming your team, and I've had discussions with 3 of you, and I haven't discussed with you, that we were talking about it, should never name your team after yourself.
Oh, no Jason Town?
Okay?
Paul made that name anyway, so.
It's Dorter.
By the way, I don't think Jason Town's a good name, Jason. Just for the record.
Hey, you're not part of Jason Town.
No, you're not, but you're living in Weaverland, and we do it my way.
Not after yourself, Mr. Weaver. Here, here.
Okay, I said don't name your team. I didn't say not anything about not naming a country after yourself. All right.
No towns, but nations? Okay.
Okay. All right, leadership. It all starts with leadership. Let's go ahead and, come on. Common mistakes continued. All right. Not listening or disregarding input from agents, your supervisor, or others. Doesn't matter, because we're talking about your personal life too. Okay, not listening or disregarding input from agents, your supervisor, or employees. Okay, one of the things, and I got to share this with you, when I was up in Wisconsin with my brother, is he is 52 years old. He used to be a VP, vice president at GM, got a really nice severance package into the high, middle 6 figures just to leave the company, all right? And he was 2 years away from retiring anyway, all right? And so they have a program in Michigan where if you lose your job, that they'll send you to school to learn a new trade. Well, he's learning about computer networking, okay? And he was talking to me, and he said, you know, Jer, I've been, he actually doesn't call me Jer, he calls me Beeve. You should see me cut wood. You should see me cut wood. I'm a hell of a carpenter. All right. And he goes, you know, I've been finding out, I'm listening, because, you know, he still moves in the same circles. And the circles he moved in were executives and people that own their own businesses. And he is listening differently than he was listening before. Before, he was part of the conversation. Now he's listening about the conversation. And he said, you know, in this country, people don't pay for experience anymore. And I said, that's true. That is true. We don't pay for experience anymore.
What would be an example of paying for experience?
I can give you a ton, but I don't want to record it.
It's really expensive when you have to hire somebody with a lot of credentials.
Yes,
It's a lot cheaper to hire somebody.
it is. And this is not meant to slight anybody. It's cheaper to hire Jason than to hire me, knowing he's going to make more mistakes, but it's still going to be cheaper to hire him.
Yeah.
It's about the money.
Gotcha.
Now,
What are you trying to say?
if it was me, I create my own value, which is why I own my own business. Okay, because I create my own value. My clients tell me how much value I bring to their business when they write that check. Right? That's how much they value me. All right. Can we, I think we got all these listed.
Whoa. You got quick there.
Talking out of school, participating in rooming, sharing confidential, sensitive information with the wrong people, not taking reps' complaints about pay problems and pay issues seriously, not stopping what you're doing to take care of this issue, pay issue.
Yeah.
Pay issues are the number one issue. If an agent comes up to you about their pay, stop what you're doing. Okay? It's their money. And they will hold you responsible for that. You know, how many times have we heard one of the agents, man, I've had a pay issue for 4 months, and you never even, it's important to them. Not listening or disregarding input from agents or supervisors or other people. All right? Jason, how do you think that will impact your team?
Okay, you have to listen, because if you don't, I mean, okay, everybody has their, there's little gold nuggets everywhere that you look. You actually listen to people. I get ideas from people, like anybody. Like, I'll listen, I'm like, oh, I didn't think of that myself. Like, I like that idea. I'm gonna go ahead and move forward with that. Like, you have to listen to them, and also, if you're listening to your employees, if you're listening to your employees, you actually really do listen, you're going to get more respect. They're gonna be like, wow, Jason actually listens. Hey, cool, I like that. Supervisors.
That's how I've been fooling you.
Supervisors, I'd be stupid not to listen to my supervisors. They're my supervisors for a reason. And you can always learn, always be a student. Like, I've learned, like, from you, I've learned a lot of things. Like, seriously, you taught me a lot of things. I have to listen. If I'm just going around like, no, I know everything. Great, hey, man, you know what? I'm a supervisor now. I made it. Sorry. I still have to keep learning and listening and moving upwards. And listening is a great skill that some people forget about. Actively listen to the people and listen. See what they're actually telling you and do it. When you listen and do it,
I'll use our favorite example.
it's a win-win situation.
How many of you have had conversations with Bob? Raise your hand.
I'm Bob's
Okay.
best friend.
Why do you listen to Bob?
I listen.
Why do you listen to Bob?
Because it's little gold nuggets.
Because in that 45 minutes,
There's
there's one thing.
Yeah, there is.
He may not even know what it
Yeah,
is,
you don't know.
but there's one thing in there,
Yeah.
okay? And I'll tell you, I learned it from Lynn. Like, the first few months I was here, I said, man, that dude drives me crazy. Why do you waste so much time with him? He goes, because in that length of time that he's talking, there's one thing in there.
Yeah.
It may not be what he's trying to communicate, but I get one thing out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. So I started doing it, and then I started picking it up. And it is really good. And it, well, first of all, he has an agenda. There's no doubt he has an agenda. Okay, so take that out of the picture and just listen. Okay? Stephen, how about you?
Not listening. Like Jason was saying, I agree with Jason a lot. You can't grow. There's always room to grow. And if you're not listening to somebody who may know an easier way, you're just making it harder on yourself. So it's always good to listen to your supervisors as well as
If it's harder on you, is it going to be harder on your team too? Absolutely. Absolutely. It is human nature when you get promoted to put your own stamp on what you're doing. I'm no different than you guys. When I first got promoted to supervisor, my manager's telling me all the ways to do it, and I'm doing it my way. Okay, but I learned really quick when I got my second supervisor check and I saw his manager check, I needed to listen to him. And I started listening to him. Then when I became a manager, you think I learned my lesson? No. I became a sales manager and I wanted to do it my way because I'd been a supervisor and I knew how I was going to do it. Well, my senior sales manager was telling me, and again, compared paychecks, I started listening to them. Okay? It doesn't make any sense for people to give you advice that's going to mess you up. I'm not going to tell you something that doesn't work. Neither is Brew, neither is Doug, neither is Travis. Well, Travis might.
If it benefits me, I will.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. He is honest. Honest and transparent. That's a good leadership quality, Travis. What about you, Travis?
Well, I think the best one out of that is not listening to your employees, because here nobody knows what's going on better than the people who take 50 calls a day, 40 calls a day. And me, I fall out of touch because I'm not on the phones. I haven't taken a phone call in a long time. So I don't know what's happening. If they come up and say the calls are crappy, I'm not just going to say, yeah, it's fine. No, well, tell me about it. I mean, I want to understand where they're coming from. And especially if they think it's a big enough issue to actually confront you about it, talk to you about it, then you need to listen to it, pretty much. I mean, agents come up to me all the time, and I try, I'm getting better, just stop what I'm doing, and I'll hear everything out. Because, like I said, I mean, if you're not in tune with what's going on, then you don't know. And here, there's, two people in the company that make us money. I've said this before. Sales agents and technicians, that's it. I don't generate revenue. Doug doesn't. Marco doesn't. The people who do are people answering the phone. So if we're not listening to them and getting everything, then we don't have a company.
To a certain degree, that's very true, but management plays a role in that, making that happen.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If
Well,
those don't get answered, we don't have money.
If for the majority of your career, as you guys progress through your career, the higher you go, the least amount percentage is going to be your base pay. Okay? Does everyone get that? I can give you an example, okay? Let's say my base pay is 60, but I'm going to bonus 100. So my real pay is 160. See that? You'll bonus off how much money you spend, how much money you don't spend, how many headsets you don't have to replace, how many sales you make. It's the higher you go, the more responsible you are for the financials in the organization. Okay? So I'm just making these numbers up, okay? So let's say as a supervisor you get paid 30. As a manager, you may only get paid 40, but you're going to make 100. Your base pay. We're talking about base. Okay?
Yeah, but to elaborate on what I said earlier, it's like I can negotiate a better rate, right? And I can say we got an extra 50 on every dish sale. But if we don't make any dish sales, then the answer that 50 means nothing. So
There's a balance. That's a good analogy. All right. Anybody else? Doug, how about you? Marco?
Oh, one of the greatest insults that Mr. Weaver ever allowed my way was to call me a passive listener. And I had to go look it up. There's some truth to it, because it's constructive criticism. And I have to battle that a lot, because a lot of it's just like, ugh. But if you don't listen and you really don't get it and your people know it, then it becomes an issue of confidence in you, respect for you, and loyalty to you. So if you gotta listen, because if you listen, people feel like they're important, and they are. But it's like if you're actually giving them the time and hearing what they have to say. If you're not listening, then it's sort of like, what's the point of going back down?
I remember that. I remember that. I got put on the spot. You never want to give feedback in a conference room. Feedback should be, because you don't know. I got put on the spot is what happened.
It was in a conference room.
Yep. I got put on the spot.
You're an active listener, actually Doug's a passive listener. I'm like, what is that?
And then after he could,
So unflattered, I was like,
he was mad at me for days, guys. He was mad at me. My drinking buddy don't want to go drinking with me. I'm like, what the hell did I do? But I knew when Pamela did that to me, she wanted me to tell it. Remember that? Made me tell everybody. No, you don't want me to do that. You should never do that. Because remember, praise in public, constructive feedback in private. Now, there are certain times when in online monitoring where you have to give that and there's people around, or the behavior is so outrageous you got to correct it right then. Excuse me, I need my spit back. I'll get dehydrated.
I was taking a free shower.
Talking out of school, rumors, confidential or sensitive info. Let's start with Doug on that one.
Talking out of school, rumors. Look, I hate gossip. I'm not a big fan. A lot of times we have to talk about stuff in private that we don't need to get out. And that's, I sent you all an email a couple of weeks ago about keeping the trap door shut, not letting it get out, because some of that stuff, a lot of it's in the planning stages, a lot of stuff that we have to talk about isn't really a policy yet, it's kind of kicking things around, and if someone on the floor hears what the plan is, even though the plan has been rolled, it can really cause a lot of damage, because half the stuff we talk about never actually turns into this discussion.
Now, it's important, guys. I mean, it really is. What Doug just said is highly important. Okay? If you're going to be a great leader, not just a good one, a great one, you're going to have to build consensus with the people you lead and your peers and your bosses, the people you report to. Now, if while I'm trying to build consensus with Doug, and I'm just trying to come up with a plan for listen to everyone, and he goes and tells everyone else what we talked about, I'm done. I can no longer do that. Even though that's the best way to lead people. If I can't trust you to keep your trap shut or spread rumors, okay? I once read that Socrates supposedly said this. I haven't read it in any of his writings. The guy was going to wanted to tell him something. He goes, I got something to share with you. And he goes, Socrates goes, is it good? And he goes, oh no, it's bad. And he goes, okay, let's get the bad part. Next thing, is it important? And the guy goes, yeah, it's pretty important. Third thing was, Socrates asked him, is it going to edify someone? That means build them up? The guy said, no. And he said, why would you share something that isn't good, it's not important, it's not going to edify someone? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You're working against yourself from the very go. This job's hard enough. I mean, being a good leader isn't easy. And if you're going to make your own job harder, you see where I'm going? Can everybody relate to that? Marco, you had a hand up?
Yeah, well, there's been, let's give you an example. Any workplace is essentially just a big old sewing circle. And some things I've had to do is not sit other people near other people. There's some people who are more vocal than others and express their frustration.
Isn't that part of knowing your people, though?
And they express their dissatisfaction far more frequently and readily than most, right? So I have to kind of monitor those people, and I can see them kind of corralling their peers and, looking back and talking, no, man, I just can't have that.
Natives restless.
No, they're spreading dissent and discontent and whatnot, and it's just bad news, and I've experienced it, and I said, all right, guys, you're moving, all of you, over there, everybody spread, and I say it in a tactful manner, of course, but they know exactly why I'm saying it, because in fact, look, man, this company is doing real well. We've come a long, long way, and if people can't realize that, then it's my job to kind of put it in perspective.
Well, with this class coming out, you guys should be able to start cutting your dead wood. You got it. Doug is going to come up with some kind of expectations where, you just can't have an agent that doesn't make any dish sales here every day for a year. Can't. We're losing money. Company's losing money. And here's how you got to look at it. I know, this may sound weird, but this is my business too. This is my company too. I can't get a raise if we got 12 people out there that can't sell and they're getting all the money. Okay? I can't get nothing. All right? Now I'm going to use an example of 2 of these things that happened to me. All right? 2 of these mistakes that happened to me here. All right? Because I'm sure Lynn doesn't look at the videos. Okay? Lynn called me into his office. This was like, I've been here a couple months. Instead of when I was here 1 day a week, being here all week. And Lynn goes, "You're drinking at work." I said, "What?" "No, you're an alcoholic. You're drinking at work." I said, "No, I'm not." He goes, "Yes, you are." And I said, "No, I'm not. Who said that?" And he wouldn't tell me. And he goes, "If you're not drinking at work, why do you have a bottle of Scope at your desk?" Okay, hold on. It's important. It's important. It's important, all right? He didn't check with me before he started talking. Okay, does anybody know why I had Scope at my desk?
Bad breath.
You want me to coach you one-on-one with bad breaths? You're going to listen to me? You're going to be like, "His breath stinks." Are you listening? Or are you smelling my breath? And I said, "Lynn, I have Scope because I coach people up in their face and I smoke. And that gives me bad breath." And he's like, "Oh, go on."
Sorry about that.
Carry on, sir.
Sorry about that.
See? Even Lynn can make a mistake, guys. But I could tell you, he's learned. Lynn is a totally different man now than he was 4.5 years ago. In most ways. In most ways. That's Travis giggling there, Lynn, by the way.
In a good way.
Oh, yeah, now you say it.
Yeah, you got 5 minutes. Sure.
Not taking complaints about pay problems and pay issues seriously. This is number 1, guys. And I know it's tough. There's always seem to be pay issues. My understanding it's getting better, is it?
From what I can see,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Seriously, trust me.
I only
It's
get
better.
5 complaints a day instead of 50, so
Exactly. Listen to this guy.
Okay, does anybody know why I used to make you guys give your checks out at the end of shift?
Yeah.
Okay.
People take it and don't come back sometimes.
That or they open it up and,
Mad, yeah.
and then you're already dealing with one that's doing that and you got 4 others.
Who I will remain named and set the moment who takes off every Friday about 2 hours.
Why's my check small? Oh, I work 2 days. Why's my check so small?
Well,
Just enter your own
Just
check.
go to the numbers, man. Whenever they come to you like that, go
Yeah.
to the numbers, man. Go to their availability, go to their, see what they schedule, whether they worked.
Too much logic is just like,
I'll tell you what, man.
But if you're consistent with your behavior when you do that, pretty soon they're going to stop or they're going to find another job where they can make enough money in 2 days working.
We're inclined to want to give them checks because they earned it. Trust me, man. You know, give it.
oh, checks come out today, huh?
Yeah. But
That's the only reason I brought it up.
So not cool.
All right.
you moved the Thursday payday.
So I still get a sale. I got a month of this pipeline coming through.
Okay, so we covered the three new mistakes, right?
Yes.
Okay. Write a paragraph on how the principles, characteristics, habits of effective leader managers has impacted your professional life. 1 paragraph on the impact of these principles, characteristics, habits in your personal life. Take the 3, it's not on here, take the 3 mistakes we made today, make a plan to implement or change how it impacts your team. All right? You 2 work together. Is Lindsay, all right, you 2 work together so you don't work on the same one.
I got 2 teams.
Yeah, I'm on this team.
Okay, so all 3 of you need to get in sync.
I have 3 people and I only get 1.
Yeah, I have leaders.
But you're in Jason's house.
I have a leader. My 1 leader's better than 2 leaders. How about that? So you got it.
Okay, let's get in a fight about who's got leaders and who doesn't.
You want to go PP?
Jason Town and Weaverland.
Jason Town.
He's not allowed in Weaverland.
You're not allowed in Jason Town.
That's all right. That's all right. SLI continues on a weekly basis. SLI sessions are recorded and can be listened to or viewed more than once. You guys know where the YouTube link is, right? Everybody knows where it is.
It's on the internet.
You can download them to your phones. Do your homework. See you next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.